Hey guys, welcome into Fantasy Football Academy 2020. Good Monday morning to you. I'm the Dean, your host, as always. Look, we had a wild weekend. It was high scoring. I know for myself, for the head of the class award winner for this week. I know the week isn't quite over just yet, but we're going to go ahead and crown him anyway. Mr. Charles with the Slutty Mutts in our league of record. The 169 points. That gets you to the head of the class. I was almost there, had 162, but Charles snuck in with Kyler Murray's performance last night against Seattle. That was a wild game, unexpected. I didn't see it coming as close as it did, but I'll tell you right now, hold on 1 second. Okay, there we go. Had to tone it down a little bit. I'll tell you right now, when I do the projector contest for Sunday Night Football, I actually called the Arizona Cardinals beating the Seahawks, but I had them by 4 to 6 points. So I was thinking that there were going to be some field goals in there, but I didn't think it was going to be a overtime field goal that separated them. So almost called it. We're starting a new series today, or a new, feature for this episode. Monday morning, we have Overreaction Monday, and we have legit or quit for those performances that are in the top 12, guys who we think, or I think, are going to be legit contenders week in and week out moving forward, or guys who you need to quit on the expectations of, okay? A lot of guys are going to look at, for the bye weeks streaming, they're going to look at this week and go, oh my gosh, so-and-so did awesome. So-and-so was in the top 12. Well, are those guys in the top 12 because of matchup or because of they're just that good? Okay, so we're going to take a look real quick. Before we do, as always, you guys know I love when I do these screen shares to take the time and thank my sponsor, Zia of Lafayette and Keller's Bakery at 627 Lafayette Street off the Youngsville Highway. Make sure you check them out on Facebook. You can order through their Facebook Messenger. Remember, tell them the Dean sent you. Get you 2 free cookies down the bottom when you subscribe, like, and share for me. Let me know what flavor you got and how it was. I know they're going to be awesome. I want your reaction. So we see here, we're going to start. Let me switch this over to QBs, and we'll start with the QBs first. So I guess it's about time. I'm not hopping on the Brady hype train, but I'll let up a little bit and I'll watch it go by. Brady, 369, 4 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, puts him at 44.86 points, just above Justin Herbert, who had an outstanding performance against Jacksonville. Now, here's the thing. Is Tom Brady legit? Yes, we know he is legit. We know that they're getting him weapons left and right, a la the new signing of Antonio Brown going to the Bucs. But look, just because Antonio Brown's going to the Bucs, don't look for it until it happens, okay? Yes, he signed the contract, but he still has a civil lawsuit coming that he has a December court date with. So if you're looking for him to, have any kind of contribution to Tom Brady's production, you might want to hold off. So what does that mean for Chris Godwin owners, for Mike Evans owners? Yesterday, and we'll get into this when we hit receivers, Mike Evans was absolutely gone. He pulled a disappearing act. Don't know what happened. Scotty Miller was the man along with Chris Godwin. However, You're going to be surprised. Maybe not if you follow this show at all, my take on the Bucks. But yes, Tom Brady does hit my legit list. If he is available, if he was on your bench, then you probably need to have him in your starting lineup. Again, based upon matchup. Okay, look at the matchup because he faced Vegas. Vegas was going through a lot with COVID. That's why this was actually the Sunday night game. This got flexed and put in place was the Seattle Arizona game that turned out to be even better. This was an absolute blowout by Tampa Bay. Their defense has stepped up tremendously. So, we're gonna go. I'll take a look and see approach. I'm still holding that Brady doesn't finish top 12 fantasy, but we'll see how things hold up. Justin Herbert next on the list and next on my list. Look, this kid, we're going to pull up his game log here real quick. He took over week 2, and this kid has not lit up, okay? He has, as of right now, 300-yard performances in only 5 games, okay? 5 games, 300-yard performances. He has a touchdown in all of them. He has multiple touchdowns in half of them. I'm sorry, in over half of them. He had a rushing touchdown the first time he stepped on the field as a starter. He had 311 yards and a touchdown in week 2 against KC. You see that one was an L. I'll take that one and blame the defense because when your quarterback performs like that, you've got to win those games. Carolina, another close game. Tampa Bay, just under 300 yards, but still had 3 touchdowns. New Orleans had 4 touchdowns and 264 with 35 fantasy points, his highest until this past week, week 7, against Jacksonville. Now, go down and let's look at the rest of his schedule. Tell me this does not look awesome. He's got Denver week 8, and then in the Super Bowl, fantasy Super Bowl for week 16. He's got Vegas, who Tom Brady just torched week 15. Week 14, the first round of the fantasy playoffs, he gets Atlanta. Then he gets a struggling New England team that got lit up this past week. He has possibly a little hiccup against Buffalo, but look, Buffalo didn't look that great against the Jets. So I don't know what's going to go on there. Then the aforementioned Jets, Miami week 10, Vegas week 9, and yes, I'm working backwards. Next week, he gets Denver. Look, he gets Denver at Denver. This might be kind of a pump your brakes game, just for the simple fact that it's possible this could be in the snow. Now, you remember the last episode, if I remember correctly, I showed you guys how to look at the tools that are available to you on different platforms. On my Yahoo league, my listener league for 1037 The Game here in Lafayette, I showed you how you can look and see the weather projection or the weather prediction, and you saw that it was going to be a horrible weather conditions. It was going to be snow. That means it's a sloppy game. It's probably going to be a run-based game. So this passing yardage is probably not going to be there. So if you've got a good backup to Justin Herbert, and you probably do, because if you're like me and you took Herbert, you still have someone on your bench, or you can at least stream one of the valuable options that are still out there on the waiver wire. Look, if there's only 10 guys in your league or 12 guys in your league, if everybody's got 2 quarterbacks, then you're looking at 20 to 24 quarterbacks. But chances are that there are at least one or two players that do not have two quarterbacks rostered. They've probably given up a roster spot for something more valuable like a wide receiver or running back depth. So with that said, look on your waiver wire, see who's available, look at the matchup, pick the best one. And if you have doubts about Justin Herbert going in the snow, if that is the weather conditions that they're going to be playing in, then go ahead and pivot. Look, it's okay to have a hiccup. It's okay to make a bad call, okay? You're going to have them. You're going to have down weeks. The thing is, don't dwell on it. Take it, accept it, move on. Okay, guys? So, Justin Herbert on my legit list. So, and those of you who remember Hammer, too legit to quit. I'm not going to go into the whole song because you do not want to hear me sing. So, but guys, remember, I'm trying to show you how to reign supreme in your fantasy league. Sorry, I'm covering up product. Reign supreme. This is Razzleberry today, so yes, I'm jacking it from my 16-year-old. He loves the Razzleberry. So, top 12. We see Baker make an appearance here, and he's a free agent. This is one of the guys I'm talking about that's a streamer. Anybody who has the possibility of finishing the top 4. Now, look, he was playing Cincinnati that he already lit up in week 1. So I'm really not all that worried about Baker. Like, if you want to roster him, go right ahead. You're basically just wasting a roster spot just for the simple fact that he's not going to be here every week. He's available on your waiver wire for a reason. He's got way too many ups and downs, and he just lost Odell. So, until we can see that the Baker's got a better matchup, just stream Baker. Okay, he's not on either legit or quit because he's kind of in that middle where he's like meh. And if you're down here in Cajun country, you know what meh means. Okay, so Joe Burrow is my last. I'm only going to give you 3 per position, guys. So Joe Burrow is my next on my legit list. Look, this kid is who they thought he was, to borrow Denny Green's phrase from his post-game interview. If you guys haven't seen it, Denny Green, former coach of the Arizona Cardinals, when he was going off, when they just dropped the ball on a win. If you go YouTube it, it's hilarious. Denny Green, rest in peace, loved you. But look, Joe Burrow, we're going to pull up his game log here and look at him. Look, he had one bad showing, but it was against Baltimore, so that's forgivable. We can kind of ignore that. We can kind of ignore that he had a bad showing or a mediocre showing against Indy. They're a great defense. Jacksonville, look, he still threw for 300 yards, and you take away that interception, he's possibly right there at the 20-point mark. First game, I'm not going to hold that against him. But you look, he had a 30, a 24, and a 39 this past week. Yes, both of his 30-ish finishes were against Cleveland, and then his 24 was against Philly. He gets Tennessee, and then he gets a bye. So, I mean, if you've got this kid on your roster, you definitely want to look at the matchup. And you look down here. Sorry, my arrow wanted to wander, and I won't work from last to next. I work from next to last. After the bye, he gets Pittsburgh. tough break, but then it really lightens up against Washington, who they're showing a little something. Hey, I love my boys, but they are who they are. The Giants, look, if he can't light up the Giants, then he's definitely going to make it to the quit list at that point in time. Then he gets Miami, Dallas, Pittsburgh again, and then Houston. If you can make it in the fantasy playoffs, week 15, with a better matchup than Pittsburgh, you can stream somebody at that point in time and make it to the championship. Houston is going to be a good matchup, not a great matchup, but a good matchup for him. We just saw Houston get torched by Aaron Rodgers. No, I'm not comparing Aaron Rodgers to Joe Burrow, but he can torch this team in Houston. He's got the weapons. He's got Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, the corpse of what used to be A.J. Green when he makes an appearance and he pops back from the dead. So with that being said, Joe Burrow definitely is making my legit list right now. On my quit list for quarterback, guys, I couldn't believe this when I saw it, that he actually finished top 12. Daniel Jones finishes QB 11 currently on the week. Yes, we still have 2 games to go, but do you really see Nick Foles breaking into this? I don't. So Nick Foles and Jared Goff going tonight on Monday night, Chicago and the Rams. I look for this to be a really defensive battle. So if you have either defenses, congratulations, you're probably going to get more than average points, especially if you have the Rams. Like, Rams are coming off of a loss. Their defense is upset. So, and Nick Foles is an interception machine. Have fun with that one. But like I said, Daniel Jones, he was going against Philly. He didn't even crack 200 yards here. That one long run of 80-something yards, which was probably like 95% of this 92-yard rushing, where he stumbled and fell on Thursday night. That was hilarious. If you haven't seen it, check me out on Twitter at FantasyDean20. It's in my timeline. I did tweet out the play where he fell, and I did say, thank you, Daniel Jones, for summing up the entire NFC East up until this point. So let's look at Danny Dimes, as he is called. His performances have been atrocious. He did hit Pittsburgh with 21 points of fantasy, but that was off of 2 touchdowns. He has yet to top 300 yards. He has yet to get within 20 yards. He almost got there week 1, but as we see, 241, 179, 190, 222, 112 against Washington in a win. And then 187 this past week against a struggling Eagles team. Doesn't get any better. He gets Tampa Bay, and if you don't think that Washington is going to light him up the next time they see him, you are sadly mistaken. I know that might be wishful thinking on my part, but he has a really rough schedule coming up. He's got a bye after Cincinnati, or a bye after Philly, then Cincinnati, Seattle, whose defense, they've shown signs of life, but they still give up a ton of points. Then Arizona, Cleveland, and Baltimore. Look, that's going to be a really rough stretch, guys. So, Daniel Jones, definitely on my quit list. Please lay off of him. The next one, same quarterback, or same game, different quarterback. Carson Wentz. Look, I know Carson looked good. He threw 359 yards. He had a rushing touchdown. He had 2 passing touchdowns. And you might be thinking, Carson Wentz is back. Hold up. It was against the Giants. Okay. My son's high school football team could probably score that many points against the Giants. Okay. So here's what I'm saying. Let Carson prove it again. If he is on your roster, keep him on your bench unless he's playing the Giants again. Look at him in matchup. I know that it's very tempting, but he's without any legit receivers. He's got Travis Fulgham that he seemed to develop a chemistry with, a connection with. But if that's your only guy, and everybody knows that's your only guy, he's going to get the #1 coverage. Then you get, Alshon back, you get Jalen Reagor back, and Philly just might as well chalk this up to a, hey, we tried type year, okay? Because they're really not doing anything. Sorry, that tie is not going to, catapult you into the NFC title game. You're going to be if in the NFC least division, if you make it to the playoffs, you're going to be a one and done team. So have fun. Next up, I was going to put Derek Carr here, but then I realized that Derek Carr was dealing with a lot of injuries, and he still can get it done. Let's take a look at his game log real quick. We see 29, 24, 27, and his minus 20 games against Carolina the first game. And then against New England, but he's still having good numbers. I mean, he still has a couple 300-yard performances, multiple touchdowns in multiple games. He gives you he's a decent streamable quarterback. Okay. So I'm not throwing him on the quit list because I don't think that you need to quit him. One guy I am concerned about that is on my quit-ish, we'll call it my quit-ish list, because I'm going to put Derek Carr in halfway on here, and I'll put Drew Brees. I know you're probably saying, oh my God, no, not Drew. Look at his performances, guys. Okay. He's without Michael Thomas yet again. So, I really don't, something just seems off about the Saints this year. They were supposed to be everyone's Super Bowl contender this year, and it's just not coming together. I don't know what's going on, but something's off with the Saints. Okay. Next up, they get Chicago, who's got a really good pass defense. Then Tampa Bay again. San Fran, who, if you saw this past week's game, San Fran just looked really good. They get a break with Atlanta twice in 3 weeks. Denver, then they get Philly. And then to hit the fantasy football playoffs, the first week you have Philly. The second week, if you make it that far, you get KC, who, I don't know. And then Minnesota is should be a cakewalk. But that's considering that you make it that far with Drew Brees. Like I said, Drew's just looked off. I don't know if Father Time's coming in or what, but I'm not trusting Drew Brees to get me anywhere close to a title. Okay. And I'm talking fantasy or reality. So if you've got Kamara, if you've got Michael Thomas and you're waiting for him to come back, great. If you're waiting for Emmanuel Sanders to get off the COVID list, okay. But it's going to be a crapshoot for the Saints from here on out. Okay, guys. Moving on to, and again, if you guys ever think that I'm like way off, which sometimes I am on these things, please, down the bottom, subscribe, like, share, and leave your comment for me, okay? Now, the first guy on my list, and we're gonna work from quit to legit on this list. Jeff Wilson, look, 33 points, 112 yards, 3 touchdowns. 3. Okay, crazy. But here's the thing. From what it looked like to me, this is a torn Achilles. So he's got an ACL injury after his 3rd touchdown that he scored. I feel bad for the guy. I saw him just flash out. He would be on a watch list for me. If you were lucky enough to stream him, congratulations, you probably won your week. But I'm not. You need to lay off of Jeff Wilson. Don't just look at the stats and go, "Ooh, I need to pick him up." Don't do that. Okay, guys. Next up on my quit list, Wayne Gallman. Look, they did not go out and pay Devonta Freeman to come in just so that Wayne Gallman can come in and take over. Okay, guys. This was a opportunistic performance. He only had 34 yards and 1 touchdown. And let's see. 5 receptions for 20 yards. He gets on the top 12 just barely, simply on the back of a touchdown. So don't look at the fact that he made top 12, that he pops up on your radar just and use that as a reason to pick him up. Just please quit this guy. Too volatile. Don't even go there. Next guy, Boston Scott. Look, if it was not for that touchdown at the end of the game with 40 seconds left, he had 46 yards receiving, 46 yards rushing. He got an 18-point performance because he got a touchdown. He wouldn't even been here if it wasn't for that. And that's not going to happen every time. You're going to get Miles Sanders back, and then Boston Scott will become irrelevant. Now, to my legit list. Look, Giovanni Bernard in relief of Joe Mixon. Look, I don't know what kind of injury he's dealing with or how severe it is, but Giovanni Bernard is a legit replacement for Joe Mixon. If you are the Joe Mixon owner and you don't have Giovanni Bernard on your roster, you need to go get him. Okay? If you believe in Joe Mixon, then you got to believe in Giovanni Bernard. He's going to be involved. You see him right here. 5 receptions, 59 yards, and a score. They're not using him as a running back. They're using him as a wide receiver. They're using him as that little safety valve for Joe Burrow. So he's a rookie quarterback. He's going to need help. Giovanni Bernard is a security blanket. Go get him. Next guy, Chase Edmonds. And we see him just above Giovanni Bernard. 58 yards rushing, 7 receptions for 87 yards. Look, when Kenyon Drake isn't doing that well, Chase Edmonds just steps in. Okay, 21.4 performance for fantasy points. I'm sorry, 21.5. I was reading Jamal Williams, who is actually the next guy on the list. So, Chase Edmonds, legit. He's been there week in, week out. Ooh, excuse me, guys. Whew. You know that feeling you get nowadays when you want to sneeze, but you can't because you think everybody's going to want to quarantine you? That's what I just had. Just an FYI. But yeah, Chase Edmonds definitely. Let's pull his game log real quick, and we'll take a look at that. So we see he had 20-point performance. Yes, it was against the Jets, but he had also had 15 against Carolina and a 13 before San Fran started dealing with all their injuries. The 3.9 was against Dallas, but we all remember the Kenyon Drake. That was his game. They get a bye, and then they get Miami. Buffalo, Seattle, New England, the Rams, the Giants, Philly, and San Fran again. This might be a really good stash for your lineup. If you have Kenyon Drake, you might want to consider going and getting Chase Edmonds just in case anything happens to Drake, okay? And yes, this is going to be kind of a pick 'em, pick your poison type situation, but Chase Edmonds is legit. He does get enough value to be a flex option in matchups, okay? Jamal Williams, if Aaron Jones misses any kind of time, we know that this guy is coming in and getting some work. Okay, 77 yards rushing, had a touchdown. Now, look, this was the Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers show. Don't be fooled. But Jamal Williams did get a chunk of this game. So he's definitely a legit. Let's go over to wide receivers real quick. We see Tyler Lockett with an absolutely mind-boggling performance. I'm just noting this just to give him props. 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, 56 yards, or 56 points. Absolutely crazy. So then you got Devontae Adams at 196 and 2 TDs, A.J. Brown at 153 and a touchdown. Like I said, this was just a crazy wide receiver weekend. Guys on my quit list, let's go through those. I mentioned him before. Scotty Miller. Look, yes, he had 109 yards. Yes, he had a score. Yes, he had 23 points, almost 24. But guys, I'm telling you right now, with the addition of AB, Scotty Miller, as you've seen before, can pull disappearing act on you. Is that something that you really want on your lineup and just go, I hope he does really well. I hope Brady throws him the ball. That's not what you're looking for, guys. Okay. Jalen Guiton. I'm guessing I'm pronouncing that wrong, but wide receiver for the Chargers against Jacksonville. Look, this guy had 84 yards and a touchdown. He breaks into this list just because he's a free agent. I don't want you guys to go out there and go, oh my God, I need to get this guy. Look, he's just making a pop up. Please pump your brakes. Keenan Allen is the guy to have in this offense. And then you got Mike Williams. So, yes, Mike Williams does get hurt, but I'm telling you right now, this kid, wait and see. Please don't rush out and waste a spot on him. Nelson Aguilar is my third and final, 107 and a touchdown. This was just desperation. This was game script. They were down by so much that they just had to throw the ball. Henry Ruggs is the guy. Nelson Aguilar, if you have a roster spot, go ahead, but he's going to be a matchup guy. And I don't know how much I trust anybody on the Raiders at this point. So for my legit list, we're going to go Cole Beasley. Yes, I know it's against the Jets, but I want to show you guys something. This is what you call consistency. He's only had one sub-10 performance. Everything else has been 11 to 23 points. This guy has not scored less than 11 points in only one of his games. This is steady. Okay, this is good, steady performance. Over here at the graph, you do not see this big dip like we see with other guys. You see gradual decline and increase. Okay. You don't see a whole bunch of up and down. And then he gets New England, who just got torched. Seattle, who's constantly giving up points. Arizona, who gave up a ton of points. Between them and Seattle last night, I believe it was 1,100 yards combined that they gave up. Then they get the Chargers. That's probably going to be a shootout. 2 young quarterbacks going at it. And then San Fran, who might be on the mend there, but then again, they might not. Pittsburgh, tough break there, but he still performed well regardless of who he's been facing. Okay, guys. Faced Tennessee, got 11 points. So if you need a good flex option, Cole Beasley is definitely a guy that if you're out of options, especially now during the bye weeks, that's a guy to plug in, and you're comfortable with that, okay? Christian Kirk, next guy. Look, this was the guy who was supposed to be the #1 guy until they brought in DeAndre Hopkins. Then they bring in D-Hop. This guy, look, he scores touchdowns. That's what this guy does, okay? 37 yards, 2 TDs, 5 receptions. What more can you ask for? You can't, okay? I would have liked to have seen a little more performance as far as yardage goes, but when you make them count, you make them count, and all the yardage was pretty much going to D-Hop at that point. It's 103 yards he got. So, let's see who my next guy. Ooh, sorry. There we go. Rashad Higgins. Look, why did he make my legit list? Because if Odell Beckham's gone, this guy is going to be #2. Landry's going to be #1. All the attention is going to go to Landry. So definitely, this might be the pickup to have. It's going to be sneaky. It's going to be, backdoor kind of hush hush. You're not going to hear a whole lot about him, but when he does blow up, he's going to blow up. So if you've got a roster spot, you need some wide receiver help, Rashad Higgins might be the guy to give you some relief. I think he's going to be legit. I think because of the situation, he's going to be legit. So that was my legit or quit list for quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. Yes, it was National Tight End Day yesterday, and a lot of tight ends did have outstanding performances. And I'll tell you what, in honor of that, let's go ahead and we'll highlight a few of them real quick. Let's run down the top performances. Harrison Bryant, 21 points, free agent. Rob Gronkowski. Look, I told you guys. I told you. I'll take a victory lap on this one because I'm not going to take it on Gronk a whole lot. I love Gronk as a person. I think he's energetic. He's fun to watch. He's kind of the anti-Brady of that combo. It's kind of like he's almost like it's like a Batman and Robin situation. I love Batman, and no, I don't want to think of Tom Brady as Batman, but that cute little sidekick that he has and Robin, that that boy wonder, that's kind of the attitude that I see Rob Gronkowski having, and it's just fun it's fun to look at. So then we have Darren Waller giving 17 points. TJ Hawkinson making an appearance. However, I believe that this was on his bench, unfortunately. But Slady Mutt still came off. Now we see a lot of free agents here, guys. So don't go out and just grab these guys, willy-nilly. Look at who you're grabbing. Logan Thomas, he's really up and down, and he actually had a really good game against a really bad Dallas team. So Richard Rodgers might be a nice pickup because Dallas Goedert's out and Zach Ertz just is not doing it. So he might be someone to target here if you need tight end help. But I'm telling you right now, they're trying to get Gronkowski more involved. Harrison Bryant, I'm going to have to do a little more research on him. because I will tell you right now, David Njoku was the guy to have in this one. Yeah, we see breakout performance. Yeah, Austin Hooper is out. So with Austin Hooper out, keep an eye on the injuries. That's why they're always important to check out. And all of those reports are probably going to be coming out. The Sunday ones are going to be coming out today. Keep an eye on those, and then they'll come out tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to hit up the waiver wire show. Who are the ones to target when you're submitting your waiver request? And I'll give you guys two of these tight ends to target coming up. We see Jared Cook making an appearance with 32 yards and a touchdown. And guys, remember, your tight ends are primarily, unless they are named Kelsey or Kittle, they're probably going to be more than likely touchdown dependent. Okay. If you notice in the top here, there's no Kelsey, and Kittle is way down there. Okay, guys. So there's Travis Kelsey way down there. 3 receptions, 31 yards, 6 points for Travis Kelsey. That is extremely uncharacteristic, but it was in the snow. So that's why it's always important to check your weather report. Okay, guys? So with that said, I'm going to wrap this up, guys. Look, down the bottom, subscribe, like, and share for me. Show me that you love the show. Show me that what I can do for you. Ask any questions you want. I'll be more than happy to answer. If you guys have questions about who to pick up, who to drop, because remember, when you pick someone up, you got to drop them. I do want to show you guys just real quick. Just came to mind. These are the do's and don'ts. And once again, Mr. Nick is going to be receiving the Dunce of the Week award. Why? Not because he scored 45 points, but because he left Mark Andrews and Justin Tucker in his lineup. And I will tell you right now, if I speak to him, and I'll tell you guys later when I do actually talk to him, whether or not he said this or not, he will tell me, well, they were on a bye and I just didn't have anybody else to pick up. Did you guys see all the free agent acquisitions he could have made? Logan Thomas was out there. Gronkowski was out there. Now, here's the other thing. He had Emmanuel Sanders on the COVID list. That could have been moved to IR. Nick Chubb is still on his bench instead of his injured reserve spot. Joe Burrow is on his bench with 40 points. Okay. Yes, he's got golf going tonight. Yes, he lost Odell early. Okay, so he just had a bad beat. But he had a lot of guys on bye. I would have put in Latavius Murray instead of Peyton Barber. The rest of his lineup looks pretty good. And there is any kicker is better than no kicker at all. Okay, guys? In this league, we don't do negative points for field goals missed. He could have gotten any number of kickers out there. So no excuse why that isn't done. Sometimes you just run into a buzzsaw. Sometimes you just, you just have a bad week and you gotta take your lick. But that's why Mr. Nick is my 3-time recipient of the Dunce of the Week award. Mr. Charles is my recipient of moving to the head of the class. Congratulations, Charles. Good job. Look, guys, I do this for fun. This is my hobby. I would love to get paid to do this. I would love for this to be my job. You guys can help make it happen. Down the bottom, subscribe, like, share, spread the word about the Academy. Remember, we're teaching you guys different. We're teaching you all about environmental roster management, environmental drafting, environmental fantasy football. Okay. It's new. It's different. It's not stat related. I'm not going to throw a bunch of stats at you guys, but I want you guys to be aware of the environment surrounding players. And remember, environment creates the stats. The stats don't create the environment. So until next time, I will see you guys. Watch out for the waiver show coming up tomorrow, and we will see you guys next time. Fantasy Football Academy 2020. I'm the Dean. I'm out of here. You guys take care of each other.